Hello there, I'm Erika Chavez, Director of Community Relations at SmithLife Homecare. Welcome to the Ask the Expert series. For those unfamiliar with SmithLife Homecare, we are affiliated to Charles E. Smith Life Communities, a trusted elder care brand with over a century of community service. We operate in Washington, D.C. and Montgomery County. The SmithLife Homecare As the Expert series is dedicated to sharing essential insights and resources for aging in place. Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming our special guest once again, Marielba Rivera-Velazquez from State and Long-Term Care Attorney. So welcome, Marielba.
Thank you for having me here again. I always enjoy my time here with all of you.
Thank you so much for coming. And we are so delighted to have her here as we work on finalizing my power of attorney. For those who already watched the last the Ask the Expert series that it was made by me, we had the first time where we were talking about superpowers, specifically power of attorney, and I promised that the second time that Marielba was coming here, we're going to do my own power of attorney just to show you how it's done and, a couple of specific details about that. So anyway, I take this moment to remind to click the bell so you can get our new content every time. So subscribe, okay? Thank you. Okay, so let's do a quick recap about the power of attorney. So if you can remind us quickly about what is it. And
last time we were talking about the superpowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are also called the ancillary documents. And mm-hmm. those are the documents that will help you or help the people that want to help you in the event of incapacity, okay? So this includes the power of attorney, the advance directives, includes what we call all the dispositions that we call that are included in the living will mm-hmm. and the HIPAA release. Okay. One of those documents is the power of attorney. Is a very powerful document, mm-hmm. but a very useful document. Okay. And yes, I promised you I would be here to help you get yours too.
Okay, perfect. So for me, I'm a 50 years old lady, mm-hmm. wonderful lady, just being said. So, and I have no issues. So I don't have any health issues. I think, but the reason that I wanted a power of attorney is to be prepared for the future.
Right.
So I have a daughter that I completely trust her. So what I really wanted to do is have in place something. I don't want, if I cross the street today, maybe I can run over by a car. So I want her to have to be able to make the right decisions. Right. So that's why I'm getting my power of attorney. So, but that being said, when is the right time to get a power of attorney?
Yes. Well, we attorneys usually advise all adults to get their powers of attorney, right? Mm-hmm. And when when I have parents come to my office, I always offer powers of attorneys and the ancillary documents for their adult children. If they have someone that is going to college, one of the children is going to college, then if something happens to that child mm-hmm. In college, the only way that they're going to be able to intervene and represent their child is with the proper documents. Mm-hmm. And that will avoid having to go to court mm-hmm. And a judge appointing someone to represent the person that is incapacitated. One thing you need to consider is that if you go to court, the judge will choose someone, and that person may not be the one that you would have chosen for yourself. So if you're an adult, in case something happens to you, then who would you want to help you resolve the issue? If you're not able to do it for yourself, then put that in writing.
Got it. Okay, so the power of attorney is sometimes for specific cases, And sometimes, like in my case, could be in general for the future. So you can decide it when it's the right time to do it, or the right moment, or the specific situation, right? That can be chosen.
Yes. So, for example, in your case, like you said, you're healthy, you're in your 50s, and you already have someone that you truly trust, that you want that person to take care of your affairs in the event something happens to you and you're not able to do it for yourself, right? Okay. There's nothing specific going on that is the reason why you're needing this. So in your case, I would suggest you to get a general power of attorney.
Okay.
We have general powers of attorney. We have limited powers of attorney. Okay. You can use the power of attorney for handling your affairs while you're traveling, right? But if you want something just in case something happens to you, then we're talking about handling probably all of your affairs or whatever it is that you need. In that case, we can start thinking about a general power of attorney.
So that's what I'm getting right now, a general power of attorney that is probably being activated when the time is right, when I'm incapacitated. There is specific rules for that incapacitated period?
Yes. So this is one of the reasons you should always hire a lawyer to create your powers of attorney so that you understand your options. The power of attorney can become effective in different ways. One can be at the moment of signature, right? So if some people feel comfortable with the person they're choosing or they're appointing, they already have health issues or they are older, and they want for the person who is appointed to be able to go to the drawer and act on their behalf at any time, then that would be a good choice for that person. Usually with people like you that are healthy, are handling everything, are not planning on delegating any of their affairs to anyone anytime soon, you're young, then most people in your case choose their powers of attorney to become effective when they become incapacitated. So we can put that in writing, and then one of the options is to make sure that two physicians put in writing that you are needing the help of an agent. The other way you can make a power of attorney effective is specifying a specific event. And the best example for that would be for travel. When I go to Asia, right? The other side of that part of the power of attorney is the end date. So you can put an end date to that. So again, with a power of attorney prepared for traveling, then the end date would be when I come back, right? Okay. But usually in your case, it would be you don't put an end date. So unless you revoke it with a new power of attorney, or if you die, then that power of attorney will continue to have effect.
Thank you so much for that information. So yes, I wanted just to be activated if an event happens. Also, I like the fact that I have the option if I get into a fight with my daughter and I don't want her to be my power of attorney, I can cancel and get a new power of attorney. I like that. Okay. Right. Thank you so much, Marielba. Okay, so I'm ready. What kind of documentation, what do you need from me to start working on my power of attorney?
Well, after I learn why you are thinking of getting a power of attorney, what's the purpose, the objective, the goal, so that I can help you get a power of attorney that's right for you and your circumstances, I only need your contact information. We will need your driver's license. Okay. To identify you with the notary. It needs to be notarized, and we're going to need 2 witnesses.
Okay, perfect. How many people can I have on my power of attorney? In my case, I just want my daughter, but it could be a good idea to have somebody else, second, third person. How can we do this right?
Yes. So in addition to your information, I'm going to need the information of the people that you're going to be appointing. So that would be the names, all the names that the person uses, and their contact information. So that is email, telephone number, and address.
Okay.
We don't need everything, but as much information as we have, the more information that we have is better. So as you can see here, the first part is we need to explain the client how powerful the document is, right?
Okay.
It's a very powerful document and the risks it implies, okay? So this is the first part of the document. Then we go to designating the agent. And here you can designate up to 3 people. Okay. And we attorneys advise people to get at least 3 people. It's not required, and it's not. This is a a minimum would be 1, but you can have more than 3. Okay. It's just this is kind of like the happy medium, just to make sure that or do our best in preventing the person. Or prevent the person to have to go to a court process to get somebody appointed, okay?
Okay.
Now, here you can designate co-agents, okay? And that is people that will be working together.
Like siblings.
Making decisions. You can have 2 people, your siblings, or one of your children and your spouse.
What would you recommend?
What we're trying to do is avoid court and avoid conflict, right?
Okay.
So unless it's necessary and you explain why it's necessary and it makes sense, my recommendation is to pick only 1 person.
Why?
Because in this scenarios, it's very common to be in a very difficult situation. People get emotional. People get sensitive. So it's harder to make decisions, and people go different ways with what we want for mom, what we want for wife. So having those discussions may end in conflict. So choosing one person that will make the choice and we will follow with that choice would be probably best for these situations.
Okay, so, but if I have 3 different people, so the first one can be my daughter, the second could be my husband, and the third, my brother, but my brother doesn't live here. So what do you think is best? Because he lives overseas. And I have a cousin who lives in Texas that I trusted as my own, brother.
Yes.
So what would you recommend?
Yes, so the person should be in the U.S.
Okay.
Because if not, it's gonna create some trouble. So if you have someone that is in Texas, that would be the best person.
Good.
And that person can act from Texas because that person can make decisions with regards to finance. They can sign. Now with the internet, they can e-sign documents. They can make payments and all of that with the power of attorney, which is focused on financial decisions, right?
Okay.
Now for that, the next part here is the designation of successor agents. Okay. So that is one person acting on behalf of the grantor, okay? But then if that person is not available for whatever reason, it may be they're out of the country, or that person predeceased you, or that person basically emotionally or for whatever reason they're going through personal situations and they probably cannot handle having to be the agent. So then the second in line will be the person that will step up to the plate, and if that person is not available, then we have the third choice. And you can see there how we are trying to avoid any court process to have a person appointed on your behalf.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have this clear. We have my my cousin, my daughter, my husband, my cousin. Okay, good. And I really don't have any restrictions. So I would like them to have access and they can decide it on everything. But people, especially, let me ask you something about seniors. Do they have, in general, any kind of restrictions that they would like to put in place on a regular power of attorney, from your experience?
When seniors basically, it depends on their situation again and their goals, but sometimes they're trying to make sure that if they need long-term care, that whoever is appointed is going to be able to help them get that long-term care. So access of financial resources, all of that are all that are available out there, and then the care that they need, right? So in that case, it's usually about adding powers to the power of attorney instead of restricting powers.
Oh, that's
so the first part of the power of attorney is a grant of general authority. Okay, so here it's basically giving the person the authority to be involved and make decisions with regards to the financial affairs of the person. And then we go over to specific matters. So you can see here, it's a very powerful document. You can delegate powers with regards to your real property and tangible personal property, and bonds and stocks and other investment vehicles, and then banks and financial institutions. If it's not specified, the person will not have the authority. Okay,
good.
So if you're thinking of restricting that power, then having a good reason for it. Okay, because if it's not included and then it's needed, you cannot, it's simply not there. So nobody's going to accept the person handling that specific matter. So if you have a business, right? So this can be in capacity. This is one that it's used for people that travel.
Yes.
Insurance and annuities. Okay, annuities is one thing that people use when they're planning for long-term care. Estates, trusts. So if you create a trust in order to make any amendments to what you did to be able to get long-term care or to get the care that you need, right?
Yes.
In terms of money or health care. Claims and litigations to represent you in court too.
Yeah, for me, all the above. I'm fine with
personal and family maintenance. Okay. Benefits for governmental programs or civil or military services. There are a plethora of services that can be provided by the government, but you need to apply and you need to qualify in terms of care and in terms of level of need and in terms of your income and your financial situation. So how do we qualify you? If you're not able to do it for yourself, then your agent can do it for you, but it needs to be specified. If it's not included, it's not going to happen. Retirement plans.
Wow, it's a lot of
yes,
like you said, a powerful.
Taxes, gifts. Gifts are very important too for additional planning. And then other specific authority. And the reason why you should do it with an attorney is that you can go over and go deeper into any of these options so that you can understand what you're doing, making sure that you're getting what you want and making sure that you're stopping whatever it is that you think it's a risk or too much of a risk for you. Okay,
so
or that you don't need.
I was going to ask you that because I see online so many, they have like templates for power of attorney. So I wanted to know what is not the same if I go online and maybe find a cheaper, price. I'm just asking you.
Yes, no, definitely. Well, Maryland, the one good thing is that Maryland has its own template because usually these templates are done and are used kind of like nationwide by these companies. So Maryland does have one for Maryland, but still you don't know all the options and you don't necessarily know all the implications of what you're signing and or you don't know the different uses that you can that you have with this document. So here, this part, for example, is special instructions. So everything that is not included, right?
Okay.
Everything that is not included in the power of attorney, and I don't always use this one. I sometimes use one that I prepare or create. But if we're using this one, this gives you kind of like guidance. And in the special instructions, you can add things that we as an attorney and with our experience, we know that we can add, and according to the circumstances of the person, it will be good to add for that person. It will benefit that person. So you wouldn't know what to include here if you're not working with an attorney.
Yes, and I like the fact that you went over a couple of, for each detail and explaining to me what is each thing, what is part of this power of attorney. Also, thank you so much for that. So I would like to ask you something else. How long it takes for you to get a power of attorney done with a client? So we're now doing it alive, and of course I know you have to do so many things on your side and including the information, but usually with a regular client, so you need 1 hour, 2 hours. How long it will take for you to?
It takes probably, at least I schedule an hour for the person.
Okay.
To make sure that I understand what they need, and that they understand what they need and what are their options. And then we can start creating the documents. It's important to understand that you need witnesses, right? So that needs to be planned. And basically, I stay with copies and the person gets the originals.
So I get my paper copies and my digital copies as well.
Right.
Okay. So then it's going to be notarized, right?
Right.
Okay.
And
so
witness?
That's why you need my license and to witness, you mentioned at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. This is wonderful. Okay.
Yes. And you see here the effective date and termination date. It doesn't have any additional instructions. So a person doesn't necessarily know what are the options and how does their circumstances change the options that they have here.
Okay, should I call my daughter and tell her that I have a power of attorney, send her a copy, or just keep it for myself? What is your recommendation?
That's a very personal decision.
Okay.
But I always encourage people to have these conversations with their family members. It brings them together. It usually gives you the opportunity to explain why are you making the choices, and it kind of like opens the conversation for other things. So if you feel comfortable, yes, tell the person. But most importantly, you have to tell the person. You don't have to discuss everything that you did if you don't feel comfortable, but at least tell the person where the document is, or who's your attorney or your financial advisor.
Okay, good. Thank you for that final advice. Is there something else that you would like to add that I haven't covered?
Well, no, I don't think so. Here you can, in the template that Maryland provides, you have a section to designate or nominate guardians. You don't necessarily have to fill that out. What we are trying to prevent is a court process where a guardian is appointed, because one, it's more expensive. It can be at least $4,000 to $5,000. It can take 4 months if there are no other additional conflicts versus 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to fill this out, and then the signature acknowledgments notary. So basically, this is, once you complete this, you have one of your superpowers.
Oh, thank you so much. This is just wonderful. So I learned so much today. I hope our viewers learn as much as I
hope
learned
to.
here. Also, Marielba Rivera is part of a resource list and is going to be here. Her information is going to be here. Please call her. Name this the Ask the Expert series, and you're going to get a discount, right, Marielba?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
definitely.
wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.